transition pictures for St. Francis of Assisi, or Giovanni di Pietro di Bernardone, as his real name is. He lived in the 13th century. I think he came from a rich family, but gave all that up to become a simple mystic and preacher and a follower of Jesus. He basically wrote a lot of the source code for today's Catholic Church. He was big on nature, big on animals, big on respect for the environment, and is kind of worshipped as one of the good guys of global religions. He actually at one point, in a fit of passion and ecstasy, went into some kind of trance and found he had stigmata on his hands. That was considered a major proof of his divinity at some point, and 2 years later he died at the age of 44. When I found him, he was descending, rather clumsily actually, down a rope ladder into that cave environment I always see. It's metaphorical, it's symbolic, it's not real, but he was descending into that. At the bottom of the ladder was a box-like affair on the ground, and I felt it should have wheels on it to make it easier to push along. But for some reason he didn't want wheels. He wanted it to be rough and hard to maneuver. Comfort was not his thing. Ease was not his thing. It almost had to be rough and difficult and against the odds. And some kind of force within the cave somehow dragged the box with him on it along this rocky path. Almost immediately, he came to something I've not seen before, which is a smaller tunnel off to the left. Normally there's a big one that most people go up, which leads to a dome of light, and you go into that. In this instance, that wasn't the case. His simplicity, his dedication to his faith, his love and compassion had made his transition very simple. And there was an easier reward for him. It's like, you did incredibly well. Your heart was in the right place. You helped wherever you could. You don't need to go through all that ego stripping thing that other people go through. Come in here. This is where you get your transition. He stood at the entrance to this tunnel where this phenomenally bright light was and goes, but this isn't what I was expecting. Where's Jesus? Where's God? Where are the angels? This is all wrong. What you had here was an example in consciousness of cognitive dissonance between two narratives. Objective reality, which was, here's a tunnel with a light in it that is for you, please step into it. And subjective reality. If you remember, I said there are two kinds of Christians. The ones who walk in Jesus' footsteps. They follow the spirit of his teachings and try to be compassionate, kind, loving, and so on. And the ones who walk in Jesus' shadow. In other words, they follow the ceremonies and the religious texts, and they know it all inside out, and they know the stories, and they know what Jesus said. And they apply it, but they're still applying a narrative rather than simply being kind, being compassionate. Francis had both going on. He was kind and compassionate, but he also had bought in to the belief system that had surrounded Jesus' legacy. So much so that he goes, I'm going to leave that because I would like my expectations to be met. basically. He walks away, and you know the tunnel that we all go up, that normal tunnel, that was there, but it was dark. It was unwelcoming. It wasn't for him. Doesn't matter. He decided to walk up it anyway. I couldn't stop him. He trudges up this dark tunnel. And at the top there is this light that I always see, but it's off. He was not welcome there. He went over and he touched it. It was cold. There was no life there. And he goes, this is where I'm supposed to go. Why can I not go here? There was a long delay. I actually went away and did something. And then came back and went back into the energy again to see what he was doing. And he decided that this was a dead end, even though he didn't really believe that, but he decided it probably was. And he was already walking down the tunnel again. Confounded, bemused, stymied. That's what cognitive dissonance does. It leaves you in a state of confusion. He wanted his subjective reality to be endorsed by the universe, which doesn't happen. And he went back to the light, and he took a step forward, and it was almost as if he were sandblasted by the energy contained in this light. Like an acetylene torch stripped him of his false beliefs and expectations and assumptions. And in the end there was nothing left, only his true authentic self, according to the remit of his soul. And he felt lighter and freer, less burdened, and was now willing to cross over. There was a lot of energy expended in resisting the inevitable. And we do the same in our everyday lives. We expect things to go a certain way. We expect the world to conform to our subjective belief system, to walk in Jesus' footsteps. All any of us has to do is be kind. Take the path of higher intention. That's it. And life will work out. But when we rigidly hang on to doctrine, dogma, beliefs that we've been told are true but may not be, whenever we hang on to all this baggage, it contaminates our view of life, and we're walking in Jesus' shadow. Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Subscribe, like, share if you would. That would be great. Follow me on Twitter @CashPeters. Otherwise, I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.